I will appreciate your focused and your 100% attention to this class. So this is Apex Professionals, and for May 2024, this is the Preseen analysis. You are all welcome once again. So the first thing we are going to do here is that for the Preseen, we have walked ourselves through each exhibit one after another. And that was a holistic review of the Preseen analysis. We took it through every exhibit. So, and I believe by now, if anyone knows what he or she is doing, you should have gone through what we have done on the WhatsApp group once or twice. However, I'm still going to be walking us through some of the few things we have done before, while moving on to the unseen. Then we now start, then ask ourselves, how do we start? So that's what we are going to do. So please pay 100% attention. And once it is 30 minutes after I start the class, so I'm going to allow you to have a comments, questions, and then clarifications thereon, so that we know that we are all being carried along. That's good. Like I said in the group, that we should all have our snack and our cup of coffee so that we can enjoy the class very well. Okay, let's assume that today is your case study exam and you want to start. How do you start? I used to reiterate this every time, now and then, each time we have a Preseen class like this, to say, guys, once you have your question paper, your case study question in the examination hall, the first thing you should do is that you are going to, for the sake of those people that are writing this paper for the first time, this is the Preseen material. In the examination on that day, you are going to get the full case, which will include both the Preseen and the unseen. So now you have the Preseen, it will come first. You have the unseen, you will see it in the middle of your question paper. What we are going to do, the first thing you are going to do is to go to your unseen, because you are familiar with the Preseen already. So there's no need for you starting with that. Go to the unseen part and identify the first exhibit on the unseen. As you can see, this is our Preseen. And on the Preseen, how many exhibits do we have? We have 4 exhibits. Meaning that on the unseen part, we do not know the number of exhibits we are going to have there. And the first exhibit on the unseen will be exhibit 5. Part of our research that we have done is that we have prepared a suggested unseen. And this is our suggestion here, as you can see. ICAN case study Preseen analysis for May 2024 diet, suggested unseen. And you can see a disclaimer beneath it that this is for practice purpose only. All the efforts that we are going to be doing on the unseen, this has to be clear. We are only suggesting. We are assigning our efforts. Sometimes our efforts may go in line with what ICAN will bring out in the unseen. Sometimes it may deviate. But one thing will never deviate: the principle of answering the question, your technique, the way how to go about it will never change. And that is what you have to have at the back of your mind. Once you know what to do, whether ICAN goes into PM or SFM or anywhere to bring the unseen, no matter what, do not be caught unaware. You have to know where to start. And this is where we are starting from. Go to the page that has the unseen parts. They are going to list out exhibits like this for you on the unseen. List of exhibits. The following exhibits are newly provided and did not form parts of the material provided as Preseen. Number 1, exhibit 5. This exhibit 5 that we have here, which is an email from Julius with Idemudia, your partner. Julius is your partner, and that is the person you report to. So the first exhibit you have in the unseen will be a mail that your partner is sending to you that is telling you on what to do, how to go about it, and the likes. And that is what you are having first here. So your partner will send you an email, and that email you are going to have what to do there. So, and that is the first place we are starting from. Like I said, the moment you get your question paper, your full case study, open the unseen part and identify the first exhibits from the unseen. And these are our first exhibit, exhibit 5. You also have other exhibits, exhibit 6, email from Jadesola Olamiposi, the managing director of Spicy Confectionaries Limited. Then you have exhibit 7, Spicy Confectionaries Limited summarized financial statements for 2023. Mind you, we have summarized financial statement for 2 years, 2021 and 2022 in the Preseen. What is likely that the examiner will give to you is to give you an additional year or 2, as the case may be. We do not know what it will be, but it is more likely that he will give you 1 additional year. So, exhibit 8, we have information on the production and supply of Medichoke. Exhibit 9, we have Peridot Resorts summarized financial statements. Exhibit 10, we have press article on food industry in Nigeria and the need for quality control. So we say we want to look at what exhibit 5 has for us. Why are we starting with exhibit 5 when you get your question? It's because that is the exhibit that we have your requirements. Can you see? This is your requirements. This is your requirements. I think I have to zoom it enough. Yes, this is okay now. Yes. You can see your requirements now. This is exhibit 5. So let's read this exhibit 5. And because that is the exhibit that is going to have our requirements. So let's read. Email from Julius Idemudia, your partner. From Julius Idemudia to you, John Adeshola. And this email was sent on 1st of May, 2024, subject Spicy Confectionaries Limited. As a follow-up to my telephone conversation with the Chief Executive Officer of Spicy Confectionaries Limited, I've just received an email from her requesting our firm to assist the company in evaluating its performance in the last 3 years, as well as the performance of one of its key hospitality clients over the same period. The company also wants us to advise them on their strategic tax planning strategies for optimal tax liabilities and also to evaluate a proposal. And also to evaluate a proposal for the production and supply of new products that aligns with their business growth strategies. I attach here with the following. Number 1, email from Chief Executive Officer of Spicy Confectionaries Limited, Exhibit 6, Spicy Confectionaries Limited's current management accounts, Exhibit 7, information on the production of Medichoke, Exhibit 8, financial results of Peridot Resorts, Exhibit 9. As you are aware, The confectionery industry is expected to grow at a fast rate, with the Nigerian confectionery market projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 9.8% from 2021 to 2027. And manufacturers are increasing their product ranges to meet changing consumer demands. Therefore, Spicy Confectionery Limited has prioritized new products and market development, as well as enhancing customer experience through clear and consistent branding and marketing to encourage customer loyalty and retention. Please draft for my review report addressed to the Board of Spicy Confectionery Limited. This is your requirements. An analysis of the company's performance from 2021 to 2023, benchmarking the results against performance of Peridot results, one of the Spicy's key hospitality clients over the same period. The evaluation should focus on key changes in revenue and cost, as well as in the area of profitability, financial health, and operational efficiency. Requirement 2, an assessment of the production and supply of new medicated confectionery dubbed Medichoke to Peridot results. Your assessment should also include the key financial and business risks that should be taken into consideration in the execution of the business proposals. I look forward to reading your draft reports. This is where you are starting from, like I said. You have seen your requirements. So you have seen your 2 requirements now. And that is where you are starting from. So the moment you identify your requirements and you see that this is it, what should you do next? Is to go to your answer sheets and draft your cover page. Let's assume that, okay, so I don't know who is striking my screen. I don't know. That person should stop striking my screen. I beg. So let's assume that this is your answer script. So, and you have identified the requirements from Exhibit 5. So take your biro. So we assume that you are using either blue or black. So just pick your Bible and draft your cover page, which is the first page of your answer booklet. What is the format of your cover page? This is an external report, we all agreed. So for an external report, the first thing you are going to do is to design a letterhead for your firm. What is the name of our firm? Let's go back to our Preseen. Exhibit 1 will tell you the name of your firm. Osayeme, Adelowo, Shukura, and Co. Just come here. Design a letterhead. Osameye, Adelowo, Shukura, and Co. You put in brackets, chartered accountants. After you have done this, you can design an email for your firm. You say oac@info.ng. That is your email address. Then you can design any address. Address, just say comma 23 Olowo Kere streets. Apapa, Lagos. So it's because we are using my pen is big, so that's why it's as big as this. So then after you have designed this, you will now say to who is your report going to? Then subjects. After that, from then you have your dates. Then after that, you put a disclaimer. That person that is striking my screen, you know yourself. So this is what our cover page wants to look like, but I have drafted something here. Let's look at it. This is what I've drafted for you. This one is more neat. You can see. Osame Adelowo and Co. Chartered accountants, email this, address this. Then you have to. Who is your report going to? It's already stated in your exhibit 5 on the unseen parts. This is it here. You can see. They said your report should be written to the board. You can see. And that's why we are saying the board of directors, Spicy Confectionaries Limited. Subjects. What should be your subjects? You are also going to see that in this exhibit. That's why I said that's the first exhibit you should look at. Exhibit 5 of your unseen. That is where. So you are drafting your subject from your 2 requirements. This and this. But do not let it be too long. Just draft something simple like this now. An assessment. You can say an assessment. You can say a review. Anyhow you want it. There is no uniformity. An assessment of financial performance of Spicy Confectionaries Limited and evaluation of strategic business proposals for the consideration of the board. From which is your firm. Dates. The dates you are writing the case study, use it. It's allowed. So then this is a disclaimer. Someone will now ask me whether is it necessary to write disclaimer up here. It's not necessary. You may just ignore. And if someone writes it as well, there is no penalty on that. If someone says disclaimer and he writes it, it's fine. If you do not write it like this, it's fine. What is important is the contents. Why is disclaimer important? Why is it necessary? It's because this is an external report, and this report may get into any hand who are not intended for. So and that's why you are disclaiming to say this report is prepared for Spicy Confectionaries Limited, our client, and it is intended for its use. We will accept no liability from any third party who may place reliance on the contents of these reports without due authorization. That is a disclaimer. So with this, within just 10, 5, in fact, not even up to 10 minutes, 5 minutes, you should be able to finish your cover page. So the question of where are we starting from does not come in anymore. You know where you're starting from. Let me say it again. Once you get your question paper, go to the unseen parts, identify the exhibit 5, and pick your requirements. Once you pick your requirements, come to the cover page and design this. It will be at the top of your answer sheet, first page. Then, who you are writing to the board of directors. It depends on the requirements. of your examiner. So, and you will see everything on that exhibit 5. On the examination day, your examiner may say you are not writing to the board. Please read what the examiner says and draft your cover page based on that. Then subjects or title or anything. It depends on what the examiner say. Once again, we are only suggesting this. Hopefully, that may be the direction of the examiner. Then you are lucky. So you draft your subject from that, from your firm. And the date is the date of the case study. With this, you are done with your cover page. 5 minutes, it should not take you more than that. And after you are done with your cover page, what should be the next? The next thing is to go to page 2 and page 3 of your answer booklet and leave it blank without writing anything. Why are you leaving it blank? You are leaving it blank because that will accommodate your executive summary, which you do not know yet. You will come back to it after you have finished your reports. So you are going to leave page 2 and 3 blank for your executive summary and move to page 4. So what is in your page 4? Your page 4 is introduction. This is your page 4. So this is what we are saying in essence. Let's assume that this is your answer booklets on the exam. And this is your first page. So the first thing you are going to do is to say, okay, page 1, which is for your cover page. Then you go to page 2 and 3. Let's assume this is page 2 and 3. And that will be for your executive summary. Then you move to page 4. So this is our page 4 now. What will be in our page 4 is introduction. So you just come here. Let's write introduction. Your introduction is very, very important because it is the part of case study that is going to give us a preamble of what the case is all about. And that's why after your cover page, your executive summary, which you are leaving blank, page 2 and 3, come to your introduction because that will not also waste your time. It is very cheap and simple. And for that, I've drafted something for you here. Can you see? Introduction. We are going to go through it together. But before I move on, I can see some persons raising their hand. Perhaps they have questions. Let me allow them just for 5 to 6 minutes so that she can ask or he can ask his question and then we can move on. So I'm going to unmute us now so that people can ask their question. And Omoke Esther, you are raising your hand. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So based on my question first is on the cover page, from the part you stated from. Can
let
we
me go
write
back to them.
from? Okay.
This is the place we are talking about. So yeah, go ahead with your question.
Can we write from Julius Idemudia or Sayeme and Co, because that's the your boss that you're drafting the report to?
No.
Then,
so let me go back to this. So you are writing this report. Okay. This report is going out from your firm. And it is the name of your firm that is on your letterhead. And that is who the report is coming from. So it's not coming from an individual. So this is the name of the firm. Idemudia is not here.
Sorry, good evening.
I'm still answering
Kabiru.
this question.
Please, hold on now. I still have
I'm of
another
the opinion that we
question.
leave the question into the end of this class so that we can, have an ample use of time.
Yes, I understand. Yeah, I just want to answer this question. We will take it to the end of the class, yes. So right. This is the name that is stated on the Preseen as your firm. So, and that is the person, that is the name we are going to use here. So not Idemudia is not coming in. So I hope that clarifies. So I buy the suggestion of the person that just spoke now. So in order for us to have a smooth class,
no problem.
Take it to the end of the class.
Okay.
So that we can enjoy ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, so let me do what I did the other time. Okay, let's continue. So we have agreed that we are starting from your cover page, then you are jumping page 2 and 3, setting it aside for your executive summary. So we are now in page 4, introduction. How do you go about your introduction? What you have in your introduction is the first thing is the term of reference. What is bringing you to do what you are doing? And here is it. The first paragraph here is telling any reader of this report that, okay, I sit down my own at my work. Then I received an email from my boss saying that I should do this and that. And what I'm doing should be this and that. And here is what I've done. That is term of reference. So let's read this together. Sequel to the email we received from your organization. Which organization? Spicy Confectionaries Limited. On 30th April 2024. Someone should ask me, sequel to the email, where is the email? Let's go back to our unseen. We are going to see that email there. Let's go back to our unseen. The email will be there. This is the email we are talking about that we are referring to in the first paragraph of your introduction. Email from Jadesola Olamiposi, the managing director of Spicy Confectionaries Limited. From Jadesola to your boss, which is the partner you report to. Then he sent this email on 30th of April, and that is the date stated here. Please take notes of the dates. It's very, very important. That is the date stated here. So, and that is the dates you are using. I hope you understand now. So it's very, very important that you understand the dates that is stated on that particular email. And subsequent emails from the managing director, our firm is contracted to carry out a detailed assessment of the financial performance of Spicy Confectionaries Limited for the last 3 years ending 2023, focusing on the key changes in revenue, costs, and their impact on profitability, liquidity, and operational efficiency. We are also requested to carry out a critical evaluation of business strategies proposals for the consideration of the board, identifying any possible broader economic, ethical, and commercial issues associated with them. Here, you have done 2 things. The first thing is that you have told us that, oh, something happened, then it led you to writing this report. And you are qualifying this report as though it is going from the firm, not you are writing to your boss now. It is the firm providing this service to your clients, which is Spicy Confectionaries. and you are writing on behalf of your firm. And that's why you will realize the pronouns we are using here, our firm, we. So all those things are, you are not using I here. Why? Because you are not writing your own capacity. You are writing in the capacity of the firm. So, and here now, you can see that requirement is showing, and also terms of reference is showing. Then we go to the second paragraph. Second paragraph and the third paragraph is talking about a brief history or background about your clients, which is Spicy Confectionaries Limited. I hope you understand now. Okay, let's read that. This particular part, where do we get it? We got it, I got this. This is actually summarized out from the Preseen, which is the Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2 is telling you the history, business structure, and strategies and model of your clients. And that is where we brought out that particular part of introduction, background. So you can see from this place, Exhibit 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 pages. That is what I actually summarized here. These 2 paragraphs. Let's read it. Let's see whether it makes sense. Spicy Confectionaries Limited is a successful company that specializes in producing high-quality confectionery food items and has become a household name for that. It was established in 2010 with its factory in Lagos. But distributes its product to a multi-channel network comprising of Spicy's own store and online business franchises and retail partners. Spicy currently has 30 of its own stores and 20 franchises. It also has developed its own website. This has become very popular and has enabled Spicy's business to grow. Previously, Spicy's main sales had been chocolate products, but now the company has expanded into producing other forms of confectionery, which do not contain chocolate in any form. For example, cakes and other sweet candies. Spicy has a simple business structure. It has a head office, which includes its management services functions and 2 divisions, customer sales and distribution, then manufacturing and supplies. You have summarized the historical background or a brief background of your client. It's very important. Every external report usually have, even some internal reports may have this, but more importantly, external reports will have this. It's very important because it tells you, you will remember when I was analyzing the Preseen in the group the other day, I explained to say, okay, this particular exhibit 2, is very important. You have to give the reader a glimpse of who your client is, where they operate, the business they are into, their sales structure, their business outlook, major customers if necessary, major competitors if necessary. So all this information are very, very important. Then after you have done that, the next thing is to actually give us an outline of what you have done. We have thoroughly examined the attached exhibits and documents provided, carried out a depth analysis on the subject matter under appropriate headings and subheadings, arrived at necessary conclusions, and consequently preferred reasonable recommendation for the decision of the board. We are done with our introduction. This is as simple as ABC. Very, very simple. And the reason why it is simple is because you do not need to punch any calculator before you finish this. You understand? You do not need to click any calculator before you finish this. You've not started. In fact, you've not even opened your calculator. Once you just get your question like this, like I said, go to the unseen part, identify your requirements in Exhibit 5, draft your cover page. You have that mark. From the information I got, that cover page alone is 5 mark. Simple, that's a bonus. After that, you come to introduction. Introduction, you do not need to press any calculator. All the information you need for introduction are in Exhibit, I think that Exhibit 5, and also in Exhibit 2, because you are summarizing the historical background of your company. And you have your mark. It's as simple as that. In fact, you are going to get this suggested solution after the class. I would advise, if you can just sit down on this particular introduction. People have done that in the past. Just cram it. You are good to go. And pour it down on the examination hall. It's fine. You are good. The only thing you just have to be careful of and watch out for is the dates that is stated in that email that Spicy is sending to your boss. That's why I underlined it, because it may change. And also your requirements. You don't know what your requirements will be. So it may change. So you are not just doing word for word or figure for figure. This solution we are providing is just for you to study and have a focus on what you are doing. We are done with introduction. As simple as that. So you can now understand the reason if I say, okay, case study, all you need is technique. Because the first thing, it is one thing for you to know what to do. It is another thing for you to know how to go about it. Once you know how to go about it, then you are good to go. Once you know how to go about what to do, then you are fine. Most of the issues we have with people in case study examination is that the moment they get the question like this, they start with something unnecessary. And that is to jump into the calculation aspect and start to do trend, do ratios, and finish all the calculation, and they think they are fine. They will do that for like maybe 2 hours. Sometimes people will use 3 hours out of the 4 hours to be doing calculation. And before you realize, examiner will say 1 hour to go, then you are destabilized. So, and that is what we are telling you that, do not do that, because it will not help you. Know where to start and how to start, because it's going to help you. And that's what we are trying to do now. So we are assuming that today is your case study exam, and we are starting. And what are we starting with? First thing is your cover page. Leave page 2 and 3 for executive summary and jump to page 4 and write your introduction. Those 2 parts are bonus for you. But then after you have done that, yes, you can now start your case study proper, the body of your reports. So, and this will require you to do some calculations. Why? Because you will need numbers to present in you're analyzing the numbers. So we are starting with the most simple requirement out of the 2 requirements. So now let's go back to that requirement page. This person that is striking my screen, child, is actually not giving a good view to my screen. But it's fine. That's a distraction. Will not be distracted. So let's read these requirements again. The first requirement says analysis of the company's performance from 2021 to 2023, benchmarking the results against the performance of Peridot's results. One of the Spice's key hospitality client over the same period. The evaluation should focus on key changes in revenue and costs, as well as in the area of profitability, financial health, and operational efficiency. So we know that here now we are doing financial statement analysis. So once you identify this, you know where you are going to. You are going to Exhibit 4 in your Preseen. So because from here, what we can see is that Exhibit 4 is about summarized financial statement for 2021 and 2022. And in your unseen, like I said, the examiner may give you one other year, which is 2023. And that's what we also have here. So let's open those. This is Exhibit 7, and it is the summarized financial statement of 2023. Let's go to the Preseen and open that of 2021 and 2022. So these are the numbers you are going to need for your financial statement analysis. So my own style, I used to ask people to start with the trend analysis because that will be simple. So then you can do some selected ratios if the examiner is not specific about what you should use. However, it is not compulsory that you have to start from requirement 1. If you know requirement 2, start with it. For example, let's go back. What happened last night? We made some predictions of what will come out, and it turned out that requirement 2 happened to be exact. Okay, and some persons are confused as to, okay, should they start with requirement 2? Why should you not start with requirement 2? Start with requirement 2 if that is what you know best. Okay, we've decided, we've seen that ICAN has actually dribbled us in requirement 1. They are bringing out SBU, Strategic Business Units, which you do not prepare for. Nobody expected it. And it's actually simple. They ask you that, okay, you should use Strategic Business Units. Then do trend on the Strategic Business Units. That's what people should have done. It's very, very simple. They have given you Strategic Business Units to then do this minus this, old minus new minus old, divided by old. And do is there, leave the financial statement because they say you should not use it. The examiner is specific now. But people got confused. And we understand because it will be very, very, it will look somehow if you have not seen a question before, and the first time you are seeing that question is in examination hall, it throws someone off balance. And that's what actually happened that very day. People got confused when they saw Strategic Business Unit. No, this is not what we thought to, and they got confused. Okay, now requirement 1 is not coming in the way you want, but requirement 2, you have an idea, start with it. There's no problem, it's fine. So that's what people should have done. So all I'm saying in essence is that we assume all the time that requirement 1 will be simple, and it should be your strength area. So start with requirement 1 and start with trend analysis. So what you are doing with trend analysis, it is, like I said, new minus old divided by old multiplied by 100. So you are looking for the difference between one year and another, and you are presenting it in percentage form. You can actually do it in absolute value. For example, now, as you can see, we are having, for 2021, we are having 1.6 million naira as revenue. And in 2022, we are having 1.794 as revenue. You understand? Which means there is an increment, there's a growth in revenue. If you want to measure this growth in absolute value, all you have to do is to say, okay, there is a growth. What is the growth in absolute value? 1794.6 minus 1635.0. Then you have 159.6. So let me show what I'm trying to say here. So this is your appendix page. I used to advise, once you want to start your appendices, your calculation, just open to the, let's say maybe the last 10 pages of your answer booklets. So it's going to be enough. So just come here. The last 10 pages appendices. And you start appendix 1. So appendix 1, you underline it and you make appendix 1 to say, okay, this is your trend analysis. What you are doing here in essence is to say, okay, new minus old divided by old. That's what you are doing in essence. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's as simple as that. New minus old divided by old, multiplied by 100. Then you have presented your number in percentage form. So, and that's typically what you are doing. So once you do that, you will screen is hanging. Sorry, there's a technical issue. My screen is hanging. Let's give it a few seconds. Okay, so let me just continue. So once you identify that, then you do your trend. I always say that your trend analysis, please limit your trend analysis to the statement of comprehensive income. So it may be so wrong for you to say you want to do trend on income statement and also do trend on statement of financial position. Because it is not only trend you are doing, you also want to mix it with some bit of ratio analysis to make your financial statement analysis to be robust. And this is all about requirement 1 alone. You've not even done requirement 2. So do trend for statements of comprehensive income alone. You start from your revenue. So then after the revenue, you go to your cost of sales. So then after the cost of sales, you move to gross profits. From gross profits, marketing and distribution expenses, administrative expenses, finance expenses, profit before tax. You can do income tax if you like. Me, I don't used to do trend on income tax, but it may be fine. It depends on what the examiner says. It depends on how you want it. It is not compulsory to say, okay, do exactly what your lecturer do. So then you move to profit after tax. And what you are simply doing is to say new minus old divided by old. That's exactly what you are doing. And this is very, very important. So this is very, very important. So after you finish your trend, and I used to advise to say, okay, it is not important to say you want to finish all the trend before you start reporting on it. If you do trend on revenue, you may open to your report page and report on it, write on it. It is okay to do so. If you do trend on cost of sales, move to that cost of sales and write on it. Move to your report page rather and write on the cost of sales to say, okay, between 2021 and 2022, the cost of sales figure increased by this so percentage. Then between 2022 and 2023, it reduced. You are doing well, you are making sense of them without waiting for you to finish all the trend. But if you know that you are the fast type, and also some persons will ask that, okay, as you are pressing your number in the calculator without writing it down and giving you percentage, can you be reporting? Yes, it's good. You can be reporting. And later, after you finish writing your reports, maybe you have the numbers in your reports. You just drop those numbers in your appendices. Why are you doing that? It's because you are just prioritizing what has more mark so that you can save your time. So what you need is the numbers, and you are seeing the numbers as you are clicking your calculator. Is it necessary to be writing it down first before you report? No, it's not necessary. You can be reporting without writing them down yet. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So it's as simple as that. So after you finish your, I just hope that this thing is, why is it hanging? It's hanging. It's hanging. It's hanging. It's hanging. I can't even. I even use myself. Okay. Let's hope that the technical challenge gets better. So apologies. Some person are asking, why is the screen static? It's static. So I don't know why it's static. It's not moving. So I hope it moves now. Let's just wait, and it is not advisable we stop this when we, let me see. Okay. So I think what I just need to do is to log out and log in. So just give me a few minutes, please. There is an issue with my. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, let's continue. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay. So apologies about that network glitch. Okay, so where we stopped at is we were trying to see what our requirement one looks like. So, and I said the first thing you have to do on your requirement one is to start from your appendices. Do trend, then after you do trend, so then you do a bit of ratio, then you report on them, and you do not need to actually wait for all the trend or the ratios to finish before you start to report on them. As you calculate, you report. As you calculate, you report. As you calculate, you report. So it makes sense as you are doing that. So I'm going to open, just give me a few, I'm going to open what I've done here on the, for the trend, and so that we can see what it looks like. So let me quickly open what I have here. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, so you can see this is what your appendix 1 looks like, trend analysis. So and you are saying new minus O divided by O multiplied by 100. So for revenue, you are picking the figure for 2021 and 2022. So new is 2022 number, which is 1794, which is this, minus 1635, which is this. This is 1365 divided by 1635 multiplied by 100. And that's what we have done for cost of sales, gross profit, marketing and distribution expenses, administrative expenses. Then that of 2023, you are going to see it from your unseen information, which is this. We assume this. The examiner number will change definitely. We are only assuming this so that you can see what your question, your full case reports will look like. So then after that, after you finish this trend, report on the trend first. So let's go to our reporting. What have we in our reporting? You can see this is the reporting on revenue. Having gone through the financial results as provided, we arrived at the following analysis. Our analysis is strictly carried out using some selected financial ratios and trend of financial figures. Revenue. Revenue increased by approximately 9.6% from 2021 to 2022, and then by approximately 11.1% from 2022 to 2023. So after you have written this, you can now say, see appendix 1 for calculation. So you are referring to the appendices. So it makes the examiner to say, okay, yes, yes, yes. By the time the examiner opens the appendix at the back of your question, he will see it. You can now say, okay, after you have given us the number by which the revenue is increasing, you will now tell us what are the possible reasons why revenue could be increasing. You now say this indicates that Spicy has been performing well in terms of revenue generation. And this favorable performance is attributed to wide market coverage, large market share, and the boom in the confectionery business in Nigeria. The company has experienced higher demand due to its quality products, effective market strategy, and expansion to new markets. So that you have the mark for this. Then you move to the next one, cost of goods sold or cost of sales. As you have it here, it depends, anyone. This is the calculation, 4.2% between 2021 and 2022, then 6% between 2022 and 2023. So then you come here and report on it. Cost of sales increased by approximately 4.2% from 2021 to 2022, and then by approximately 6.6% from 2022 to 2023. This could be as a result of cost of increased raw material, core material prices, and higher manufacturing costs. Increase in sales volume requiring higher production output. So if you sell more, you are going to buy more to produce. So if you want to increase your sales, cost of sales works in tandem with sales. And that is what we are experiencing here. Then, gross profit margin. You already calculated the trend here, which is what we are saying. So you come here, you say, okay, gross profit. Gross profit has followed the same pattern as revenue, showing steady growth over the 3 years, indicating effective cost management. So that means you're able to actually monitor, manage, control their cost of sales so that the growth in revenue will not be affected. Or potentially increased pricing power. It has increased by approximately 16.8% from 2021 to 2022 and by approximately 16.5% from 2022 to 2023. So all these, you can see how simple these analyses are, how simple they are. So you are going to get this suggested solution. And what I will advise is that take your Bible and your book and write. Don't just read. Why? It's because it is not the reading you are going to read once you get to your examination hall. It is right you are going to write. So start the writing now. Don't just glance through. Some people will say, this thing is too plenty. It's not plenty. If you see some other solutions in core, this one, I'm going to make it all possible. I'm going to try that it's not more than 8 pages. And it is because it's even typed. Now imagine if you want to write it out, it will be more than this. So if you can take your time, take the pen, write this thing out. By the time you get to the examination, it will flow. You will be able to actually analyze because this makes sense. Not those ones that you are doing over there. Operating expenses, you can see the analysis. Profit trend, you can see the analysis. Then there is something we added in the exhibits, in the requirement to say you should benchmark your client results with the results of one of its major customer, which is Peridot. Peridot is a customer that approached. We are still going to get to that exhibit. It is requirements 2. Peridot have approached Spicy Confectionery to say they need one particular product to be made, to be produced for them, so that they can be using in their own business. So before we enter into that arrangement with them, into that contact, Spicy Confectionery is telling you, their consultant, to say, okay, please help us analyze whether they are performing okay or not. We are only adding this. These bits, the examiner may not ask you. If the examiner does not ask you, please leave it. The reason why I'm introducing this is because I think maybe 2 days ago, I think May 2023 or so, the examiner did something, brought an income statement or a financial statement in the Preseen, and he ended on bringing another company in the unseen to say, okay, leave this, so go and analyze that one that we are just introduced. And instead of students to actually read the requirement, what is the examiner? And that's why I said it, and I'm still saying it now. Please, I'm begging. Understand what you are asked to do. The first thing you have to do in any examination is to understand your requirements. It is simple. The examiner has said, use this particular company. Some people still went ahead to go by what we did in the Preseen, which is suggested. We never knew examiner will bring something new. And now your requirement is telling you, then go and do what the examiner says. Use the same technique for it. We've already said it. It's not a word for word thing. It is only for you to have an idea of what could come out and how to go about it. And that's what we are trying to do. So in the case, in a situation whereby examiner now say, okay, go and do this, please read the requirements first and understand what he is saying. The same thing occurs last night too, with the issue of SBU. Oh, it's simple. SBU, these are numbers. What are you going to do? Apply the same technique you applied with the financial statement. Start this one minus this one, divide by this, multiply by 100. That's what you should do as well. It's as simple as that. So irrespective of anything that comes out in the examination hall on that day, understand what you are required to do, then know when to start and how to go about it. Some persons have come to say, hey, please help us on the requirement 2 side. Hey, please focus on requirement 2. And I laugh. The reason why I'm laughing is because requirement 2 from experience doesn't come out easy. Even last year, do you think it was easy? People that passed it they only passed it because they were lucky to attend Apex Professionals Preseen. We're only lucky. Some persons that are attending it also attended it. So, but God says, okay, that's not their time. We hope and we pray that this case study that you people are writing, you are going to pass it. But also, all we are saying is that please, all this technique is very, very important. And I'm still going to be reiterating it that please and please follow all these things that we are saying. As you get your question, go to the requirements and go to the requirements page, which is your exhibit 5. Set up your cover page, write your introduction, then start from requirement 1. Or, as the case, if you know requirement 2, start with it. But make sure that you start with the requirements you know best. We assume that it should be requirement 1. Do your trend, analyze it. As you are calculating, be analyzing. And after you finish your analysis, you are still going to get this, you will read it. After you finish your analysis, come and conclude on that analysis. I've also added something here. The ethical, regulatory, and compliance issues spicy confectionery should look into. Spicy confectionery, they operate in food industry. And they have compliance and ethical issues that may arise in them. So, and these are we have actually listed out. So it depends on how the question comes. All these things will give you mark because you have to have them. So then after you are finished, you are finished analyzing requirement 1, the next thing to do is to conclude on it. And these are our conclusions. Then from the conclusion, you have recommendation. As you can see that the same number that your conclusion has is the same number that the recommendation have. And also, please bullet your conclusions. You can do you can do 1. Bullet it, as many as you can. As the conclusion are coming, don't just stop. Just be writing. Just be writing. Do not stop. In case study exam, you don't stop. Just be writing, write. But make sure you are writing something that makes sense. And that is what we are trying to do now, to make sure that, okay, you know what you are doing. So we have concluded to say, okay, Spicy Confectionery Limited has considered revenue growth over the 3-year period, indicating strong market presence and effective sales strategy. All these things are simple. You can see just this thing, just simple things for you. Not writing too much, things that will not be long, and then no, I don't want to do that because it is not helpful. So all these few things, just make sure you master them, write them, study them. If you can cram some that are necessary, cram it. But make sure that once you are writing it in the examination or that day, make sure it is going in line with the requirement of the examiner and the facts that is in your unseen and your preceding. Very, very important. And write your recommendation. You are done with requirement 1. After you are done with requirement 1, what you should do is to come to your executive summary and summarize. What are we going to put in your executive summary? This is what it should look like. Your executive summary. We are going to have scope and objective. This scope and objective is the summary of your introduction. Scope and objective, like I said, is the summary of your introduction. Summary of introduction. We are going to read it now and see whether it is actually the summary of introduction. We read introduction together, Abby, in this same class. So let's read this as well to see whether it is summary of introduction. This report provides a data assessment of financial performance of Spicy Confectionaries for the last 3 financial years ending 2023. It also provides an evaluation of the business proposal before the board, taking into consideration broader economic and commercial issues that requires attention. Tools of analysis used include selected financial ratios, trend of financial numbers, and investment appraisal technique. All calculations are there in the attached appendices. Simple. You have brought out, okay, the introduction, and you can see that in the executive summary, what we are referring to here is the report, which means you must have actually finished something before you are summarizing. So this one is just the general introduction, and you are summarizing it here, maybe in 4 lines. Simple. You are good to go. So in the executive summary, you are referring to the report. Assumptions. It is assumed that all facts and financial data used in this report are not expected to change significantly. And all macroeconomic indices and socio-economic factors are not expected to alter negatively. That is your assumption. Then you have major findings. Overall, the trend analysis suggests that Spicy Confectionaries Limited experienced growth in revenue and profitability over the 3-year period, indicating a positive trajectory for the company. You can see. So this major finding is the summary of your major, of the body of your report. All the body, all those analysis that it may take maybe like 4 pages. All those things that you are writing, all this analysis of the trend of the ratio, that is what you have adopted here. Maybe like 5 lines. It's okay. Then you conclude. You bring in maybe in the main body, we have like maybe 5 conclusions. Just bring 2 or 3 here. In few lines. For requirement 1. And after you do that, what you are going to do is that for requirement 2, you are still going to summarize some things for requirement 2. Just leave a page, or just leave, like I said, a page. Just leave like some lines, maybe 3 lines to say, okay, for requirement 2, if I'm able to reach there, I will bring 2 or 3 conclusions for requirement 2. You have left the lines, maybe like 6 lines or so, or 5 lines for that. Even here too, under the major findings, you may also leave maybe like 3 lines on here so that you can bring it. You understand? Why are we doing this? Because we are prioritizing managing our time. Prioritize what you know. So you know requirements 1 and you have analyzed it. Summarize on it. Do executive summary on it. In a situation whereby examiner will say 30 minutes to go and you'll be confused, you've not done executive summary. Not doing executive summary is like not going to have a good mark. You may not have a good mark. And that's why we say after you finish your requirement 1, do executive summary on it. So that's what they are doing. Then bring in from the recommendation, what we have here. Under the recommendation here. Under the recommendation here. Just bring in 2 or 3 recommendations for your executive summary. And mind you, like I said, it is summary. Just summarize it. Make it simple. You can see I've brought 3 here. And you leave maybe like 2 or 3 lines. Should in case you are able to summarize that of requirement 2 too, if time permits. Then after you are done that, reservation and limitations. This one is just like you are saying limitation of the projects or the reports. The management accounts provided to us were not audited, and this could limit the level of reliance to be placed on our analysis. For the business proposals, so all these are just reservations. So, and by the time you are done with that, you are good to go. You are done with requirement 1. Then you start requirement 2. Then you will now start requirement 2. And that makes it make sense. It has given you for comfort to say, okay, I have my cover page. I have my introduction. And now I've done requirement 1. You have analyzed. You have done your few appendices. You have analyzed those appendices, the trend and the ratios. And now you have even summarized it in your executive summary. Okay, maybe 1 hour now remain. Oh, now go to requirement 2 and read. See what you can do on it too. And that's what we are going to do now. But I can see now that we are 1 hour 30 minutes away from when we started this class. So I will accommodate questions for 5 to 10 minutes. And then just few questions so that we can actually understand what we are doing. If you have concerns, if you have queries to raise, before we now move to requirement 2. So if you have questions, please raise your hand. I'm going to call. I'm going to give, please raise your hands if you have questions. I'm going to call name. For that, just give me a few seconds. Just like 1 minute for us to have a short break, so that we attend to questions for like 5 minutes and we move to requirement 2. Yeah, let's continue. Okay, so for the first person that is up here to ask question, and Oladapo Blessing, Oladipo Blessing, please ask your question. Unmute and ask a question. I called a name. Oladipo Blessing, please unmute and ask your question. Okay, I think Oladipo is not able to ask a question. Can Zainab Tajuddin ask a question?
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Sorry, good evening, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
So my question is that from the executive summary, do you have to label before the recommendation and conclusion?
So do you have to write recommendation, right? Do you have to write conclusion like this?
No. Like apart from recommendation and conclusion, others from the top.
Do you have to write this
The
scope and objective? Do you have to write assumption?
Yes.
It's not compulsory.
Oh,
So I'm only giving this so that you can understand each part. So if you write it,
but I know that the recommendation and sorry, sir.
So I said,
But
in
the
order for you to
recommendation and
understand this,
conclusion is compulsory.
Yes.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so you can mute yourself since you've asked a question. Raymond, please ask your question. So I just want to accommodate questions from what we have done so far. We'll continue after this. Okay, Raymond is not here. Please, if you are not asking questions, mute yourself. I said it. Sharon Oyakire, can you ask your question, please?
Okay, good evening, Prof. 2 questions quickly. First one, I just wanted to find out, please, just for my own clarification. I understand what you have said about trend, but please, sir, is there any situation where we'll find the other, because in the review class, you were telling us that sometimes you can ask to do profitability and the rest. I just wanted to know, is it under requirement 1 or something?
It's under requirement 1. That's why I said. Am I still sharing my screen? I stopped.
Okay, the second question is, all that introduction you were talking about, where do we just go to? Where do we go to in the unseen to pick it out? So it should just be fast. Because I remember you were saying that we can just summarize the part of the material given. Which part of it do we summarize so we don't waste time? Please.
Yes, I already mentioned this. I just for your introduction, if you read it. Am I still sharing my screen? Can you confirm?
Yes.
Yes, you can see us.
Okay. So for your introduction, if you see it, I already said is that this first part, the issue that has to do, please, someone is disturbing us from noise from that background. Anyone who is not talking can mute. I don't know why people just do this. It's distracting, please. So you can see that this particular aspect is in your exhibit 5, and this email, this date here, is equal to the email we receive from your organization. It's in your exhibit, and it is 6. I already mentioned it when I was doing the this. By the time you go through the recording, you understand. And I also said that in order for you to save your time, you can just study this. You can study this. You are good to go if you have done that in the examination note. So this particular history or historical background, it is in your exhibit 2 here. It is in your exhibit 2, but you can see this exhibit 2 is 4 pages. And you already have it here. So why do you want to go to the pain of writing this over and over? If I were you, me, I will just cram this one that I've done here. There's no point to say you want to be going through that. So all you need is to say, okay, some points that I said, I made 2010 is already in your exhibit 2. 20, 30 spices, all these things, all these numbers, you may need that. So just go and pick it. I hope that clarifies. So another person here that's, so 2 more questions, then we move on. So we have Abdullah Ishit to ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My first question is, you said the performance of spicy confectionery will be benchmarked with one of its key customers. I've not heard you analyze that part. The second one, what of the profitability liquidity ratio that has to do with the requirements one? I'm yet to see that. So these are my questions, sir. Thank you.
Okay, that's taken. So it's because I was actually trying to, if you see, let me open the, so you can see appendix 2. Appendix 2 has to do with ratios. So this ratio you are going to analyze, that's what you're going to use to analyze profitability, liquidity, and some other stuff. That's number 1. Number 2 is that even your trend, you can use it to analyze profitability. And mere looking at your cash balance in your statement of financial position, you can use it to analyze liquidity. It's not every time you have to actually put one number against another before you know things that are going on. Mere looking at financial statement and see that someone, a company is in is having overdrafts in bank shows the company is not liquid. So this is the aspects, and the fact that you have to benchmark. I also stated it here in your, I think after I analyze, this is profitability trend that you have. This is benchmarking with Peridot results. So this particular site is the benchmark against Peridots. And like I said, your examiner may not say this one. Just bear in mind, if the examiner does not ask you, do not do it. So I'm only trying all possible best to say, okay, what if the examiner brings in something new? What should you do? So, but more importantly, your requirement prevails. Understand the requirement and do what the examiner requires you to do. So I hope I've answered your question.
So if I understand you clearly, sir, that means
Yes.
that Peridot is not really a competitor.
No, it's not competitor. So I think the word benchmark is what is bringing maybe a kind of issue there. So it's not competitor. So Peridot is like a customer to you. So you just want to know what their financial information is. So if the examiner now brings in another company, maybe that one is a competitor, you cannot be comparing to say, okay, this against this, who is performing better, who is performing well. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that's how it goes. So Peridot is not a competitor. Okay, so one last question. Then you move to exhibit requirement 2. So Jacinta, can you ask your question, please?
Hello, sir.
Mr. Aremu, I have a question.
Please, we are calling names.
Hello,
you will ask
sir.
all your questions. All of you will ask questions.
Good evening, sir. My question is,
go ahead.
In introduction part, I'm asking, is it necessary to leave a line in between to make it more clear? As it
It's fine.
like the way you did your introduction. Okay.
It's fine, it's fine. You can leave lines in between. It makes your work neat, so it's fine. Anybody who does not leave line, it doesn't mean that the person will not get some necessary mark. So,
hello, sir. I have a question, sir.
Hello,
I have a
all.
question.
Please,
Yes, I have a question.
we may have to continue, please, so that we can save our time.
One question. So just one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the question is this. In the page of the introduction summary, we are asked to give space for requirement 2.
Yes.
If we give those space and eventually we're not able to cover the space and time, we submit this thing. We get penalized for those open space.
But nobody does that now. That's a very simple question. Nobody will penalize you because you leave a space. You not cover it. All they are after is to mark what you have put down there.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So there is no penalty for that. So let's continue.
Good evening, sir.
So requirement 2, we will accommodate questions after we finish. So let's continue with the class. So let's go back to our unseen and try and identify what requirement 2 is once again. Then we read the exhibits that are related to requirement 2. Maybe we may be lucky, like we were the other time. If the examiner brings something that is close and we are good to go, we just match it. Requirement 2 says an assessment of production and supply of new medicated confectionery named Medichoc to Peridot results. Your assessment should include the key financial and businesses that should be taken into consideration in the execution of this business proposal. I look forward to reading your reports. So now let's go to the email that the MD of Spicy Confectionery sent to your boss. I think we've read this before. Side of 12%, and provide considerable return to our investors who have a target of 12%. The following business proposals have been considered to achieve this objective. I have attached to this email relevant information concerning proposal for your guidance. Your assessment should highlight the financial and business risks that should be considered in executing the project, in addition to the benefits and drawbacks of the above proposal. Considering your firm's track record of quality service to our company, I'm confident that your reports will enable us to take well-informed decisions that are appropriate for our growth strategy. So now let's read. We are done with Exhibit 7. So now let's read Exhibit 8. So Exhibit 8, production and supply of Medichoc to Peridot results. Medichoc is a novel medicated confectionery product conceived by our research laboratory, which has been designed to combine the pleasure of indulging in chocolate with the health benefits of medicinal ingredients. We have been contracted by Peridot Resorts, a leading hospitality company in Nigeria, for the possible supply of Medichoc. The sales projections made are in line with the possible demand projection that are discussed with Peridot Resorts. Market overview. The global confectionery market has been growing steadily, driven by factors such as increasing consumer preference for a healthy lifestyle and changing taste preferences. Consumers are seeking confectionery products that offer both enjoyment and functional benefits. Medichoc aims to tap into this trend by providing a unique blend of flavor and wellness Another driver for growth is the growth in geriatric population. The product description. This is description. Product process. This is the process. We are not going to be reading all. Quality assurance. This is the quality assurance 1 and 2. Lab testing and storage and shelf life. Then marketing strategy. What is the marketing strategy they are trying to adopt? Health messaging. They are trying to pass a message to say that naturally what you eat should be healthy enough to provide you with what you need, and educate consumers about specific medicinal ingredients. Number 2 is target audience, who are spices confectionery audience with this Medichoke new products. The audience are health-conscious individuals, those seeking natural alternatives to traditional medicine. Distribution channels. So all those information that we stated up are qualitative information about the new products they want to introduce. Then from here downward, we now have the quantitative information with respect to the capital costs. So we're having 3 initial capital costs. We have 250 million for facility setup. We have 450 million for machinery and equipment. We have 50 million for research and development. Then we have material costs. So what are the materials they will be needing? They are going to be needing a total of 300,000 kilograms, which has been estimated for the projected demand units. And the price per 1 kg, which is per 1 kg of cocoa needed, is 100,000 per kg. Medicinal ingredients. What are the medicinal ingredients needed? So they are going to be needing turmeric, ginseng, and CBD. And these are the prices per material. We also have packaging materials, wrappers, and we also have indirect materials. So these are the materials. Then we have labor costs. Who are the labor? The staff that will be working in the production of this particular product, Medichoke. So we are going to be needing skilled and unskilled labor. For skilled, it is essential for assembling and creating Medichoke. 3 experts will be engaged for the project and will be as follows: 2 expert rates. Then they will be paid $3 per hour at an average rate of 1,300 naira per hour, and that is the average rate of $1 as we speak to naira. One indigenous skilled staff, which will be paid 1,000 naira per hour. Direct labor includes wages. So these are factory workers. Wages and benefits for workers directly involved in the production process. The chocolatiers, infusion specialists, packaging workers. This has been estimated to cost 1,000 naira per hour. A total of 14 workers are expected to directly take part from production to packaging. And a total of 1 hour is estimated for the production of a single carton of Medichoke. Overhead cost, 50 million, revenue projection. These are the projection we have for the 5 years. And the following projections have been made for demand cartons. So this is for the supply. And this is what we would need for, this is what we would need to demand for the materials that we are going to be using. And for the selling price, this is the forecast that they have made. So, and that tells us about exhibit requirement 2. This particular exhibit tells us about requirement 2. We are only projecting this. We do not know what the requirement will turn out to be. So, but there's an exhibit 9 as well, which is telling us, is it 9? Exhibit 10 rather. So exhibit 9 is the summarized financial statements for peridots. You may need it in your unseen. The examiner may come up with it. If it does not come up, please just work with what you have. Exhibit 10. Exhibit 10 is an article written, which is published in Nigeria Business Digest, and it's talking about the food industry in Nigeria and the need for quality control. So just read that exhibit. It's very, very simple. It's talking about the need for regulation, NAFDAC regulation, and the likes. So what are we going to do about exhibit 2? So this is what we are going to do. Since you have the financial information here, so go to your exhibit, go to your appendix. These are appendix 2. We are going to finish that ratio later. Then write your appendix 3, evaluation of Medichock proposal. You can see that I've set out what I'm going to use for MPV. They've given us our cost of capital, which is the return for investors to be 12%. So that's what we are going to use. But before that, we have some workings to carry out. The selling price, which is the expected number. So that is for the average selling price. Then we have the discounted selling price. It is said in exhibit, in that exhibit that, let me go there. Yes, sales volume. Peridot results have negotiated a discount of 15% on the average market price per carton of Medichock. So, and that is why you are having discounted selling price, which is after you derive your 165,000 naira per carton, you have a discounted price for Peridots, which is 140,000 naira 250. And this is the sales value from Peridots. So they are going to be supplying Peridots from year 1 to year 5, and it will be 10,000 for year 1, 20,000 for year 2, 35,000 for year 3, 40,000 for year 4, and 50,000 for year 5. Selling price will be the discounted price here. And by the time you multiply it, you are going to be having this, which is quoted in thousands. So then because of this, we will also be having the demand from other markets. And this is the demand from other markets. Based on the market research, we anticipate strong demand for Medichock, and therefore have intent to produce it for other markets. And this is the demand for other markets. So which means as they are producing for Peridots, especially with 15% discounts from selling price, they are also producing for other markets. And this is their projected numbers with their probability. So meaning that for year 1, the probability will be that 30% of 50,000 cartons will be sold in year 1. For year 2, 20% of 100,000 will be sold. For year 3, 20% of 150,000 naira will be sold. 150,000 cartons will be sold. And that's how it goes. So you are going to get this, and the solution will be so simple. I've actually made it in a simpler way that you can relate with. Sales value from other markets. You can see we have 50,000, the probability, then the selling price, which is the regular selling price to be sold to other markets. Then we have the material costs. This is the calculation. You are going to get the solution. You just work yourself through it. Make sure you sit down, you write it out. You have the packaging materials. You have the labor costs. We have the factory overhead. The factory overhead is just a one-off amount. The initial capital cost is 250 million plus 450 million plus 50 million naira. And the total initial capital outlay will be 750 million naira. After you have done this, Do not waste much time on it. As you are doing that, come and start reporting on that. This, from here downward, your requirement 2 analysis starts. Assessment of different business proposals. You do not know whether they are different or not. So just leave this one and say evaluation of the business proposal with peridots, or evaluation of the introduction of Medichoc. Of Medichoc products. So, and you can see, as communicated to us via email, it is part of the strategic plans of Spicy Confectionery to expand its business operation. From the data provided in Exhibit 8, which is this exhibit that we just finished, this particular exhibit, we have evaluated the proposal considering both quantitative and qualitative factors. The present value, after we are finished, we've not calculated. That's why I did here. You can see what I put here. Because you do not know what the present value will be yet. It's also billion or million, as the case may be, over the period of 5 years. This was arrived after deducting the present. This is the net present value, sorry. After the present value of capital costs of 750 million naira from the present value of the expected contribution for the whole years. However, it is worthy to note that the forecasted results are largely dependent on estimates. And are not expected to change. So these are not expected to change. Let me change it. I may change in line with market condition. So all those things have to be put into it. So now, after this summarizes the financial consideration. So then you can see I said ethical issues associated with business, associated with introducing Medichoc products. What are the ethical issues? Number 1 is safety and transparency. We will now write to say Spicy should ensure safety and efficacy of the medicinal ingredients in Medichoc. Ethical concerns arise regarding accurate labeling of ingredients. So that one has to do with safety. Then transparency. Transparency is that the company, which is Spicy should label accurately all the ingredients and dosage to prevent any harm. Why? Because this is having medicinal ingredients. So everything that they have used in producing these particular products should be labeled out on the container or the packaging that they are using to prepare it or they are using to present it, so that it will not harm the final consumers and they will not misinterpret it. It's very, very important. So transparent communication about medicinal properties and potential side effects is essential for informed consumer choice, so that consumer can definitely say, okay, I want it, I do not want it. So this is very, very important. Then we have health claims. Then we also have ingredient sourcing. Where are they sourcing the ingredients? Particularly the herbal extracts. So then after the ethical issues, we have other commercial considerations. other commercial considerations, which may be one, market potential, product differentiation, distribution channels. So then after you have finished that, what you will now do is to conclude. What conclusion do you have for Medichoc? Is it going to increase the shareholders' wealth or not, based on the NPV or anything that the examiner says you calculate? Bring the conclusion here. Then ethical issues that you highlighted, bring it out as a conclusion. And also, environmental impact analysis, I do not think this is necessary, but because there are medicinal ingredients, what they are producing, so this, they may be using some chemicals, and that is why they should carry out environmental impact analysis, which has to do with the ethical and other commercial issues. After your conclusion, you recommend, and after your recommendation, then you are done. Just finalize your reports. The name, your name is John Adeshola. Sign for your boss, because this is an examination hall. Or if you are not writing John, you may just say, if you are not writing, in fact, it's not even important to write your name. Just put the name of your partner. Who is your partner? Yeah. Your partner is it Julius? Julius Idemudia. Just say for, what is the name of your firm? That name that we wrote the other time. The name is Osayeme Adelowo Shukura and Co. Chartered Accountants. And you are done with it. After you have done this, so you can now go back to the executive summary, the spaces you have left, and bring in some parts of requirement 2, those lines you have left, bring in 2 or 3 conclusions, then 2 or 3 recommendations here, and you are fine with this. So then another thing that now arises, someone could now ask that, what if the examiner now brings in business business analysis, maybe a model to analyze? Because it's been a while they have done that. Is it possible? Is it not possible? Like I've said, what should lead you is your requirements. Please, it's very, very important. That's your requirements. It's very, very important. That is what is leading you. The requirements you have. If the examiner asks about any model or strategic business evaluation or business analysis, you should do that. If the examiner does not ask, please leave it. Do not bother. You should not worry yourself. So what is leading us, as we have said, is this your requirements. This requirement is very, very important. That is what we are working towards. Anything that the examiner says here will lead you. It may be this that we have done here. It may deviate from what we have done here. But more importantly, the technique will not change. You should know what you are doing. Please and please, it's very, very important. So with this, we've only suggested the unseen. And please and please, anything can come. But more importantly, there's no shaking. We are not going to shake in the examination for case study. Do not fall for case study. Make sure you know what you are doing, where you are starting from, what you are doing next. Do not waste too much time on your appendices. Please report more than you write. It's very, very important. Please and please. So, taking us through our formats or the solution once again. This is your cover page. That's the first thing you are doing. After the cover page, leave page 2 and 3 for your executive summary and move to your introduction. Then after the introduction, just move and start your requirement 1, which is this. So your requirement 1, we need you to do some trend ratios. And as you are doing them, please be reporting on them instantly, simultaneously. Do not wait until you finish. Then after you finish requirement 1, you conclude, you recommend, go to your executive summary and summarize it. Leave some lines for the summaries of requirement 2 if time permits. If time does not permit, nobody will penalize you leaving some lines blank. It's fine. It's fine. Then after you have summarized that requirement 1, then you move to requirement 2 and start to do it. And I do not forget to mention, it is not compulsory you start from requirement 1. If you know requirement 2 first, start from it. It is not compulsory. So with this, I think we are good to go with case study. So all we just have to do is to get your this thing and practice. And we will now open the floor for more questions and clarifications from members. So I'm going to be allowing questions now. So if you have questions, please raise your hand. If you have questions, please raise your hand. Okay, so let me just allow you guys to unmute yourselves and ask your question. So I'm going to be calling names. We have so many people raising their hands and they have questions. So please, I will be calling one after another. If you are not asking questions, please mute yourself. People are started. Can you see that? Omo Cafe Itomo, please ask your question.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Kabiru. I really appreciate this class. You've actually done a lot of justice. Now, my question. We in this Preseen analysis, suggested scene, I can see you brought in peridots, right? So,
yes.
No, that has the financial statement as well.
Okay.
The years, yeah. So are we going to do trend analysis, ratios for peridot in kind of comparison or benchmarking?
So like I said, what should guide you is what your examiner asks you to do, that requirements. So if the examiner says you should do it, do it. The examiner may not bring it. You understand? So we are only introducing it for understanding's sake to say, okay, this may come, this may not come. So some of the things that we are just bringing in is just for party's sake. You understand? So the situation might be different in the examination hall. And that is why you have to open your mind and prepare for any good thing. But more importantly, that requirement 1 should not be an issue. Understand what the examiner says, and that is what you should do. If the examiner says, like last night, the examiner says, use SBU, just go and analyze, do trend on the SBU. If you can do ratio on it, do it. It's fine. If you can do common size analysis on the SBU, you should do it. So that is what should guide you. So it is the requirements. Someone is not asking question and the person has unmuted his or herself and is disturbing me. Let me identify the person and remove the person. There's no time. Yeah, if you do not have question, please mute yourself. Yes, good afternoon. Ask your question.
I have 2 questions here.
Who is speaking, please?
This is Sheyi Oshundele.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Now, I have 2 questions here. When you are writing your report and you get to requirement 2. Can you indicate requirement 2 on it, or you continue like that?
No. What indicates, what makes it different or tells the examiner that this requirement 1, this requirement 2 is your header.
Okay, I don't
So
need that. Number 2.
You are not indicating
In case
requirement 1.
okay. In case you said we should leave 2 pages for the executive summary.
Okay.
And some people might have, like me, have big handwriting, and
yes.
I discovered that the 2 pages that I left
may not be enough, right?
May not be enough, and I have taken the 4th page for the report. Can I do PTO to direct the examiner to where I concluded my executive summary?
So in that case, you can leave 3 pages. If you know how your writing is, you can leave 3 pages for executive summary. But mind you, we are calling this what? Executive summary. Summary analysis, emphasis on the summary. So me, I do not know how summary will now be entering 2 pages. So that is why we have suggested 2 pages. But depending on how your writing is, you can leave 3 pages. If at the end of the day, the 3rd page, you leave it blank, there's no problem. Nobody will penalize you that you leave any page blank. You can move on. It's
Okay,
fine.
sir, I have a question, sir. Question,
Yeah,
sir.
ask your question.
Hello, sir. I have a question. From exhibit 1.
Okay.
From the second to the last point on that Preseen.
Okay.
The examiner said advising your client on their strategic tax planning strategy for optimal tax liability. I don't say anything about that one. Would it affect this thing?
Okay. So exhibit 1, right?
Yes, sir.
So now, like I said, it depends on the requirements. We are still going back to our requirements. If the examiner mentions it, you can see that it has listed a lot of things. It's just telling you, advising your clients. Which of the clients? Is it this same confectionery, spicy confectionery? You do not know. So this is a general responsibility. This is like your job description that you have. You, what's your name here? John Adesola. It may not be specific to spicy. It's just telling you your job description. So this particular client, you may not ask anything, you may not have anything to do for them that has to do with tax planning. So this one now, you may not do anything that has to do with tax planning for them. So I think that answers your question. So it depends on what your examiner says in the requirements. So if the examiner asks that, fine, you are good. If he does not say anything about tax planning, so this one is not a requirement. This is your job description. So that answers your question.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. What do you do about it?
Sir, if we continue like this, we will not be able to answer that question properly. Ask us to raise our hand. And I've been raising my
Yes, I've been raising my hand since.
I've asked that to you people, please. Let me connect. People have raised hands here, and I can see that 32 persons are raising their hands. Fine, we will not be able to attend to all the questions. Some of the questions that some people are asking will address your own question. And if it is addressing your question, just put down your hand so that your hand will not be paining you. Is that very important? So those people that we have answered the question, please put down your hand. Those I will be calling name for others so that it will not be too chorus and it will be organized. So I'm calling Mary Cynthia. Ask your question.
Okay, sir. My question is, I have like 2 or 3 questions on the cover page.
Please ask 2. The other one, we answer it in the WhatsApp group. Go ahead.
On the cover page, since we already have a letter-headed paper, do we still need to put the from again, like from the chartered accountant firm again, cover page?
Yeah, put it. Nobody will deduct your mark, we put it.
Okay. And second question, I think when I was going through the Preseen, I was saying something like value chain, like value. I don't really know that. I was like thinking something related to that is going to be on this, but I'm not seeing anything there.
Yes. So to answer your question on that aspect, every information in your question, it is not necessary that you are going to make use of them. And that's what people have to understand. It's not all the information you have in your question that will be necessary for your answers. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. This is a big case study report. So saying that you want to make use of all the information you have, 30 pages in 4 hours will not be possible. So now that is why we are saying that your requirement, I'm still saying it too, I'm repeating it. Your requirement prevails if the examiner does not ask you to use value chain analysis. You do not go and use value chain because value chain is mentioned in the Preseen. Ignore it if your requirement does not go that way. Is that clear? And I hope that question will answer some other people's question as well concerning, please always follow what your examiner say. If the examiner does not ask you to use something, please do not bother about it. Okay, I'm calling another person to ask his question. Yakub Tale, please ask your question.
Good evening, sir.
Are you Yakub?
No, sir, I've raised my hand for like past 2 hours and you've not called me.
Please, I won't know that you've been raising your hands. I will call you.
Good evening.
Let's do it orderly. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
We're having 35
Sir,
persons raising hands. But there's no we are going to everybody.
Briefly, my question is that apart from the video recording that you sent to the group, are you going to send let's say a documentary soft copy?
The solution.
Something like that?
You will have the solution, yes.
Solution.
You will have it.
Okay, I'll have the solution. Okay. If you perform a trend analysis, do you need to also do a ratio analysis?
So it depends. You can do bits. That's why I said limit your trend analysis to income statements alone.
Okay.
So that you can do some bit of ratios as well. Okay. But all in all, do not waste your time too much on the appendices. So one is okay. You can do both as well. It depends on what suits you. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Okay. The ratio analysis, are you going to use only the ones in the statement of financial position? Or if you are using
no. Just limit yourself to few ratios. Maybe profit margin, return on capital employed, you understand? So don't do too much ratios. This is not a ratio question. It's not a ratio subject. Just limit yourself to maybe at most 5 ratios. And an analysis is more important.
Okay, for the ratio.
Okay, so that answers your question. Let's allow another person to ask question. That lady that asked question. What's your name?
For like 3 hours, I'm on this here.
Miriam,
I can see your hand. I will call you after Miriam. So Miriam, ask your question.
Yes, sir. So I'm answering my requirements 1. Like, can I just answer part of requirements 1, then answer part of requirements 2, then go back to requirements 1 and all? Like, because I think you said you can start with requirement 2 first. So
if you know it,
of requirement 2.
No. If you know it, please listen attentively. If you know any requirement that you know best, start with it. Let's put it that way. Me, I did not say you start with requirement 2 first, though.
Okay,
any requirement that you know best, start with it. And finish it up to executive summary before you start the other one, so that you can have your full mark. Yes.
Okay, sir. So I cannot like cut.
Why will you cut when you can finish? So there's no point in cutting. So people have done only one requirement and they have passed. Why? Because they did it up to executive summary.
And yes, sir, about that executive summary, the requirements 1 executive summary and requirement 2 executive, are they supposed to like be in like 1 page? Like just
no, I did not say 1 page. Summary. I did not say 1 page.
Yeah, you said maximum of 2 pages.
Of course. So maximum of 2 pages, and you have parts of the executive summary too. You have the scope and objective, right? Which is general.
Yeah.
You have the reservation, what is the assumption? You have the general findings. So if you like, you can group the recommendation and conclusion and recommendation of requirement 1 then you bring that of requirement 2 after it. It's fine. Nobody will penalize you.
Okay, but how am
Just-
I going to like put it as I'm writing the executive summary for requirement 2?
That's why I said leave space. Leave
Okay.
lines. Leave lines.
Okay.
Leave lines. So that by the time
Okay.
you come back, you fit it in. So it's very simple. It's very simple. Leave lines. So
can I ask a question actually, guys?
so yeah. So after no, your own question, you can ask this in the
Mine has been up.
I actually still don't like get it.
Okay, so that guy
I have a question.
I was raising his hand for the past 3 hours.
Let's coordinate. So let's coordinate. Let's coordinate.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Oh yeah, ask your question. What's your name?
Honorable Pope.
Honorable Pope, ask your question. Others, I'm going to attend to you. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sir, please, should in case they now give a requirement on, may say, anything relating to tax strategy and planning, value chain analysis, or even something that has to do with investment, sir. Which of the investments are better? Or how do we go about that? Should in case they just ask any question that requires us to probably make 1 or 2 calculations, like value chain
Aside
analysis.
from what we have, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's simple now. If the examiner is asking you to do something, then the information you will need to do that thing will be in your question. So use the data and the fact you have to answer it.
The problem I'm having is that, like, this, anything relating to tax, maybe we are going to do tax computation or value chain analysis now. If I have any data, I don't know any calculation to go about that.
And that's why we are saying, please listen. That's why we are saying that the fact that they stated tax planning here, because I think the tax is the issue now. So the fact that they stated tax planning here does not mean you are going to do anything that has to do with tax. This is your job description. No, it's not relating. It may not relate to this particular client. They are only telling you your own job description, that you work with a firm, what you would do. So if the examiner will ask you anything that has to do with tax planning, then the information you will need for tax planning will be in your question. If it is not there, please leave it. Work with your requirements. So I don't know how to do about tax planning. I do not have it. This is not tax. This is case study. So if the examiner will now say, okay, oh yeah, come and be doing anything that's not to do with tax planning, tax computation, no. Nobody will be doing that for you. So please leave this particular one that is there. It's just telling you your general job descriptions as a trainee that works in a consulting firm. It has not only mentioned tax here now, it also mentions some other things here. Details and report performance, this and that. So it's only, so work with your requirements. It's very, very important. Your requirements will lead you. Value chain is not calculation. Value chain analysis, all of you have done value chain model. You know it. So it's just to use that model to analyze. If the examiner asks about it, if he does not ask, leave it and go and do what the examiner asks you to do.
We don't know value chain model. Please recap for us. So
please go and refer to your what is it called? Your CSM notes. You will see value model there.
Now some of us don't do CSM.
So just go to your I think it should be in your case study pack. You will see value chain model there. So we can't treat, you say in classes like this, you can't treat all necessary things. And that's why we are telling you that the technique is very, very important. So it is what your examiner asks you that you will do. Fine, this is case study. You need relevant knowledge from all other subjects or virtually most of the subjects. But yet, the technique of what you are doing is very, very important. So let's attend to another person for question. So we are going to end this class. We are going to end this class by 6:40. Ask your question, madam.
Okay,
by 6:40.
Question. I've been raising my hand since.
Ask your
Mine has been
question.
up since requirement 1.
I have a question about.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Wait, let this person ask a question. I will
It's
call
too
you.
rowdy. Please, too rowdy.
Oh yeah.
Please, Francisca
Don't
is
talk
here.
now.
My hands have been
Francisca,
up.
ask your question.
Sir,
It's
I
not
was supposed to talk
Francisca
before
that's
her.
asking it now.
Let the
Somebody else
lady
is
speak
asking.
before me. She can speak, but please,
Oh yeah,
I'm
go
here,
ahead.
beg.
Okay, sir. So please, if we see the unseen and they
Okay.
tell you your requirements is in exhibit 1, would you still do this task planning? You're talking about this task planning, but if they say your requirement is in exhibit 1, would you still go ahead and do everything that is required in exhibit 1?
Jesus.
Your question is not applicable to case study exam.
Okay.
So it's not
And
applicable. You see, it's not possible.
another
Nobody
question.
will say requirement is requirement 1. So just ask the other question. Yeah.
My
Okay,
question,
if
please.
you are running your analysis and maybe you are
Okay.
computing for maybe inventory turnover, and you see
Okay.
that maybe there's a delay in the days of turnover, would you like
Okay.
tell them that CEO, these people are delaying and give them requirements, or you just tell them you just compute your figures like under your financial statement, or how will you do it? Because when you were running this show, you did not give them and you did not give us any detailed explanation on telling them, this is what is the issue, how do you go about it, and suggested solution to the problems.
Okay, so let me go through.
Like if there's a decline in the revenue like this, or maybe in the finance interest or stuff like that, how would
the
you
solution
tell
once
them
again.
about? Yes.
So now, let's go back to the solution. So from here, so you see that this is the number, right? And this is telling you what is driving the number. Right?
Yes.
You're not only calculating numbers, you are telling them why you feel those numbers are like that. And the same thing happens here.
Okay, so in this
So
revenue,
you
what
are
if
not
in the next year, there was a decline in revenue? What would
tell
you tell
them the
them is the
reason for the
reason of the
decline.
decline?
Tell them anything can cause decline. We already know. So maybe there's a decrease in price, there is a low patronage. Just tell them. So we are only using this based on what we have. If there's a decline in revenue, tell them the reason. Or something you feel that should be the reason for decline.
Okay, thank you.
So
Okay,
go ahead.
can I ask? Okay, sir. Thank God. Good evening, everyone. Okay, please then, just 2 questions. The first one is that this all reports now, so is it that we don't have any standards? Like there's no standard we can say, probably this is the standard that they would think, like they will
What do you
mention
mean
or
by
something, but
standard?
we've not mentioned any standard. Like, most times now, like previous case studies, it's okay. They looked at IS 41.
Okay, are
They
you
looked
talking about
at
accounting standard?
IS. Yes. Like, they always make reference to 1 or 2 standards in the case of the report.
Well,
I don't know. I'm just
I think you are assuming. So, but let me put it well for you. So, what is applicable, like we said in case study, is that the examiner will not be asking you direct questions. So you will not be asking direct question as related to FR or CR or this thing or that or SFM or this thing. So what they'll be asking you is that one thing, make sure you understand your requirements. So if in that requirement, there's anything that has to do with maybe how to treat one accounting standard or the other, then do it. But like this now, maybe you are referring to the fact that if it is maybe one particular sector, like last diet now, it was agricultural sector, and that was why IS 41 that you mentioned the other time came in. So this one is not a particular sector. So this one, so it's not, there is nothing like standard. Even at that one, go and check the solution. You will not see anywhere the reference IS 41. So it's just that the company is in agricultural sector. So it doesn't mean that you will now be downloading what IS 41, how to treat that. So that's not the case here.
Okay.
What are your requirements?
Okay, yes. The last question.
Go ahead.
All right. So
sorry, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, sorry, the last question, please. This requirement, honestly, I don't really understand it. This new company you're talking about now,
Hello.
that there are customers that want to.
Hello. Requirement 2.
Yes, sir.
Is a suggestion. Do you
Yes.
understand? Requirement. Do not give your headache on requirement 2. I think I already mentioned it here. Requirement 2, we are only providing requirement 2 to complete this case study. And that is why you will see here on the requirement 2, we say on scene. What did you see? What do you, please, can you read this?
On scene, suggested solution.
Where is
Suggested
the
on
solution?
scene, rather.
Okay.
Suggested on scene.
I highlighted something now. What is beneath it?
Oh, it's tiny, I'm coming.
Oh, you can't see it.
Note that this is for practice purpose only.
So this is for practice purpose only. It's not what you are expecting in your exam. It may come out, it may not. So what we are only doing is to say, okay, your examiner has a series of options. We don't know which one it should be. This one they are saying they are bringing one company, and that's why we are saying that if you requirement 1 used to be area of strength for many people, so do it first, and requirement 2, if you know what they're asking, also do it. So it doesn't mean that if you don't know requirement 2 or you do not know it very well, it's not maybe you should leave it totally. Do what you know about it. Then make sure you complete your report. Do executive summary requirement 1. If you know requirement 2, do it. It's fine. If you don't know it, doesn't mean that you will not pass. That's it. After all you need is 50. Yes?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
So I'm going to exhibit 3.
Okay.
Where they are grouping this thing by age and products.
Okay.
Don't you think they can refer this equipment exhibit 3? Yes. Product and yes, age. Yes. There.
Okay.
Don't you think they can group this company to maybe sales or revenue through age or through products?
It's fine. If they group it, analyze it based on what they group. I've said it. I said we do not know what the examiner will bring in the unseen. Everybody will just be assuming will they bring you understand. So just open your mind. Follow what the requirement says.
What are the ethical issues in this?
I've highlighted some of the ethical issues we have in the solution, and we went through it. So by the time you get that solution, you will have it.
Okay, they've asked my questions. Thank
Please
God.
answer my question.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
The lady first.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, thanks for your time. My question is regarding the report writing.
Okay.
Can we write back the recommendation I have from my body of reports back at the summary? Like
No. So you are not rewriting word for word. So you have
Okay.
to frame it in a summarized way. Why? Because you are not lifting it word for word. In your body, it may be longer.
Okay.
You understand? And it may be more,
Yes, sir.
maybe like 7 or 8. But in your ready summary, why will you bring all the 8 there? It's not possible. So you understand what you are trying to say. So just summarize. Summary, as the name implies, summary.
All right. Okay. One more thing, sir, please.
Yes.
Okay. Regarding that exhibit 3.
Okay.
There was it said the global confectionery market has been put to at $1 billion in 2019. Okay. Are we not needing those figures, or it will be stated?
I already said it. Not all information you are going to need for your solution.
All right. Thank you very much.
So just bear that in your mind. It's not everything. So the man that was asking.
When is it going to be my turn now?
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Don't let us make it rowdy. Don't let us make it rowdy. Wait.
Hello, sir.
Yes, that I think you wanted to ask a question the other time. I don't know. What's your name, please?
Sir, Sanusi Ahmad.
Sanusi, please ask your question.
Yes, sir. Being the report is an external report.
Okay.
And it's been the cover page. We are going to do the cover page on the letterheaded paper.
Yes.
Why is there a need for us to use this word from?
That's what someone asked. That's what someone asked. So you may not use it, but if you also use it, there's no problem.
Okay.
Because the reason why we are saying this is because this is the format that your examiner include in the case study material. So to say this, that, from, or this thing. So because we already have this now, we already have this cover page. So to me, it's where you may say, okay, there's no need for this. You may bring it. You may say, okay, it is needed. There is no one will actually deduct your mark if you use it. So you may leave it. Why? Because this is the format that is used in your material. So leave it like that. And if you decide to take it out, no problem, it's fine. You will still get your mark.
Okay.
So there's no one way this thing.
Second question, sir.
Yes.
This subject.
Okay.
This subject.
Okay.
Are we going to write the first and second requirement as
You
the
write it
title?
together now, but don't limit it too long. You can see what I wrote here. So the requirements, both of them will be too long. So, but you just bring in something small as your subject, like this. So you are going to draft the subject from both requirements. That answers your question.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, ask
Yes,
your
one final question from me, sir.
Okay.
Yes, in regard is it possible that this question will change from external report to internal report?
It will not change.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
that other person, ask your question, please.
Okay, in regard
the cover page, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Can we write it in capital letter all through, or is it?
If you want to write it, it's fine, no problem.
Okay.
Sir, my question is in respect of requirement 2, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I want, if possible, sir, just a kind of quick recap of the key financial and business risks as regards to the proposal of Peridoc.
So that's what you have
question.
here. That's what you have here. I already said it here that.
Excuse me.
In fact, I went through it. I took my time to go through it one after another. So by the time you get the solution, we said the first one is safety and transparency, health claims, ingredient sourcing, market potential, product differentiation. So these are ethical issues, as you can see. So
excuse me. Can
yes,
I
that's
ask
your
my
question.
My question.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, I want to know concerning financial ratio. Which financial ratio fall into strength financial ratio and health financial ratio?
No, strength and health. I don't know where you see that strength and health.
Okay, some of the requirements, like some of the past question paper, like 2023 May, they said that the financial strength of analyzing the financial, they were mentioning ratio, and they said
so it has to do with gearing and the likes. That has to do with gearing. The financial strength is gearing. Okay,
Then
so I think
health.
what we will do is that we cannot accommodate all the questions. So every other question, please let's take it to the group.
Can I ask my own? I beg.
So that we can finalize this. And then so that we can finalize this and we can complete the reports. Every other question, take it to the group. Ask your question in the group. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this analysis. So we have come to the conclusion of our analysis. And then after this, what I will just implore you guys to do is to go through the solutions you are going to be provided. Please, once you get it, write it out. And as you're writing it out, you may be having some questions. Take your questions to the group. I'm going to address all the questions. And this is the groups for those people that actually paid, so that we have little, so that we can actually enjoy ourselves. We cannot accommodate all the questions. Why? Because of one time. This is not the only paper that some persons are doing. And the questions can never finish. That's it. That's just the reality. The questions can never finish. So we will definitely have more and more questions. So let's save our time so that I can finalize the report and get across to you, and you can, with it, practice on what to do before by tomorrow or maybe tonight self. So thank you so much for attending this. Like I already said, make sure you actually go through all these reports, write it out, ask your questions, make sure you open your mind examination all, follow the instructions. Do not waste too much time on requirement 1. I remember some of the testimonies you've gotten in the past. Some people will say the fact that they passed this case study is the fact that I always mention and reiterate that please do not waste your time on appendices, on calculation. Start requirement 1, do executive summary on it, and make sure you finalize your reports. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. The earlier, the better. Please and please. Please and please. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for your thank you for your decorum. Thank you for your composure. All your questions, I'm going to attend to them. Just ask them in the booth. So I wish you all best of luck in this examination. You are all going to pass all your exams by the special grace of God. So thank you all. Enjoy your day. Let me give you the remaining 3 minutes for this particular time so that you can use it to prepare for some other courses. So we have come to the end of our case study analysis. Thank you all. Enjoy your day.